Hello. I'm glad that you're interested on the Inter-American System of Human Rights and that you decided to join us in this class. In the world, there are some regional systems of human rights, like the European, the African, and the Inter-American. They have been fundamental for the protection of the human rights of thousands of people. The Inter-American System of Human Rights exists under the aegis of an international organization, which is the Organization of American States, usually referred to as the OAS. This organization is composed by all states of the Americas, except for Cuba and arguably Venezuela. Within this system, there are two main instruments of human rights: the American Declaration on the Rights and Duties of Man and the American Convention on Human Rights. In addition to them, there are other relevant treaties such as the Protocol of St. Salvador, which refers to socioeconomic rights, or the Convention Against Torture, or the Convention for the Protection of Women, among others. Now, going back to the two main instruments, the American Declaration on the Rights and Duties of Man is not a treaty, so it is not inherently binding, but there are different theories according to which the declaration, or at least some of its norms, would have acquired binding power. This instrument contains both civil and political rights and socioeconomic rights. Most interestingly, it was the first international comprehensive catalog of human rights. It even preceded the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. Actually, a preliminary draft of this document was used as a basis for the wording of the Universal Declaration. Well, as we said, the American Declaration is not a treaty, but it is, to the Organization of American States, something like the Universal Declaration to the United Nations. We will refer to the importance of this instrument once we refer to the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. The second main instrument of the system is a treaty, the American Convention on Human Rights. This convention created the Inter-American Court of Human Rights and declares civil and political rights. Actually, it was based on the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, so it is very similar to it. But it has some features that give this treaty some kind of regional taste. For instance, it follows the US Brandenburg test, or at least this test influenced its regulation of freedom of speech, and it also has the Latin American concern for the unborn, which also influenced the way in which Article 4 is written. Well, even though this convention was civil and political in nature, it had a programmatic norm, Article 26, that mentioned socioeconomic rights. This norm was not supposed to be applied by the Inter-American Court, but the court started applying it for granting socioeconomic rights, steadily from the case Lagos del Campo versus Peru in 2017. Those were the two main human rights instruments of the Inter-American system. Now we will refer to the two main bodies of the system, which are the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights and the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. The Inter-American Commission on Human Rights is one of the main bodies of the Organization of American States, so the Charter of the OAS refers to it. Therefore, every state of the Americas is subject to the competence of the Commission, including the United States, Canada, and the English-speaking Caribbean states. The functions of the Commission are to promote the observance and protection of human rights and to serve as a consultative organ of the organization in these matters. We will go deeper into the Commission in a minute. Before that, I just want to mention that the second main body of the system is the Inter-American Court of Human Rights. This court is not a body of the OAS, so the Charter of the OAS does not mention it. The treaty that created it is the American Convention on Human Rights, as we said. Well, as a result, the court doesn't have jurisdiction over all of the states members of the OAS, but only over those that have, first, ratified the specific convention, and second, declared explicitly that they give jurisdiction to the court. Mostly, it has been Latin American states that have granted jurisdiction to the court, except for Cuba and, again, arguably, Venezuela. Additionally, Barbados and Suriname have also granted jurisdiction to the court. There are 3 exceptional states that have ratified the convention but haven't granted jurisdiction to the court: These states are Dominica, Grenada, and Jamaica.